Hi everyone, welcome to the Inner Reset talk show. My name is Seema Luthra. This is a talk show about bold choices, deep learnings, and charting your own unique course through life. In this show, we will be talking about the big questions about life, career, success, relationships, and re-looking at the challenges that we face and how we can transform those. I will be bringing on change makers that I admire and talking about the intimate side of their journey. How did they change their addictions, suicide, anxiety? How did they transform from all these experiences to show up as the people that they are today?
What seems to be the case in my experience, both with myself and with many of the clients I've worked with purpose on, is that there are elements of our purpose that is unique to us as individuals. And then that can unfold, and I'm not sure if it really changes over time, but I think it shifts over time. And what I found is that as we are more ready to lean into and live into our purpose unfolds and almost reveals more of itself to us.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Inner Reset podcast. Today we will be talking to Rashmir Balasubramaniam. Rashmir is a treasure house of knowledge. She has worked over 25 years across different industries, from investment banking to global health and development. And Rashmir's expertise really lies in building trust across cultures, regions, and disciplines by helping them get to a better level of performance and creative flow. So it is a real honor to have you here, Rashmir, and I'm really looking forward to our chat. So to start with, I really wanted to talk about your career path because, you started with investment banking and then you went to education, health, coaching. So I feel like you had 4 to 5 different careers. And what made you make those changes?
I was one of these people that never knew what I really wanted to do. And I always kind of envied those people that, thought they wanted to be a doctor or had a very clear career goal in mind. For me, I knew I wanted to make a difference, but that's pretty much all I knew. And then I fairly quickly decided, despite my mother's wishes, that I didn't want to do medicine. There was just something about it that just really turned me off. So a lot of my early career decisions were about keeping my options open, just to keep building skills, keep gaining experience, gaining exposure to different industries and different sectors in order to basically keep my options open and hope that, the thing that I really wanted to do would become clear. Post-university, I went into finance, and the reason for that, again, was it was about, again, keeping my options open while building practical, tangible skills, learning about accountancy, learning about finance, learning about deal making. And it was great. I actually loved it. I had a great time sort of learning a lot. But for me, whenever I feel like I'm not learning and I'm not being challenged in the ways that I want to be, that's usually a sign that it's time to move on. That's what led me to Yale and to doing an MBA. And the only thing that caught my attention was this visiting scholar that I met in the School of Nursing who was playing with some quite interesting ideas. So I took a risk and said, look, for 6 months, I'm going to join him and I'm going to help him to get this social enterprise startup up and running. For me, it was the most exciting thing I'd come across, but very high risk, right? I'd never done a startup before. We had no money. But it was also where I got my entrepreneurial bug, because it was fun to be thinking really big and to be playing with, well, how do we do this? And trying to figure out everything from scratch. So it was super exciting. That's what led me to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And at that point, I think I was really ready to, again, have a big impact. They were relatively unknown at that time outside of the kind of global health world. But the opportunity to make a big difference, the opportunity to think creatively because somebody was willing to invest meaningfully in social change was really exciting to me. As the organization grew, I realized when I was there that actually I reached a point where I was going to be happier and more effective outside of the organization. And that's the point at which I left. I also was very concerned about the amount of money that was being invested in consultants. What happens is it's the consultants that end up with increase knowledge, increase capacity, increase capability, rather than the people on the ground or the people that we're trying to serve. So what I wanted to do when I left the foundation was to find a way to integrate coaching and capacity building with consulting work, so that everybody that I interacted with, there was some sense of increased confidence or increased capability or increased knowledge or increased capacity in some way. I had my own coach for a few years, and I'd realized the power of coaching, how much of a difference it can make. And the big question I'd been asking myself for a few years was, wow, what if I'd had a coach much earlier in my life? Where would I be? What would I have achieved? What else could have been possible for me? And it wasn't a question of a regret. It was more a question of, wow, if this is how powerful coaching could be, how can we bring coaching to more people that have unleashed, have potential that needs to be unleashed, that have capacities and capabilities that aren't being brought to the world? And we live in a world, as you know, where the magnitude of the problems we're facing locally and globally is such that we need to unleash the combined talent of as many people as possible on the planet. So for me, as you can tell from my passion about coaching, I really believe in the power of it. And I really would like to see more people being coached at an earlier stage in their lives and careers.
Joy is an indicator that we are on purpose and in creative flow. I never connected joy to purpose, maybe to creative flow, but not to purpose. So yeah, that was my first question. And the second one is about purpose. A lot of people think about purpose and wonder whether do we all have purpose. It's something which puzzles a lot of us. And yeah, I love your perspective.
There are a lot of people that I tend to work with that believe they are here for some kind of purpose, even though they may not know what that is. And, I would say I probably fall into that category as well. I had a sense that there's some reason that I'm here on this planet, even though for the longest time I couldn't figure out what it was. And it drew me crazy trying to figure it out for a while, because it can be very frustrating to be in a purpose journey. But what I've come to believe is that there is a reason we're here, right? I mean, some people talk about that reason in very high level terms, such as, we're here to have joy. We're here to create. This is one of, in some people's belief systems, this is one of many planes of existence. And in this one, the rules are a particular way, and we've chosen to come and experience that, right? I mean, these are all, I don't know if I would call those necessarily purposes, but they're connected to our reason for being. What seems to be the case in my experience, both with myself and with many of the clients I've worked with purpose on, is that there are elements of our purpose that is unique to us as individuals. And then that can unfold. And I'm not sure if it really changes over time, but I think it shifts over time. And what I found is that as we are more ready to lean into and live into our purpose unfolds and almost reveals more of itself to us. And we still have a choice, right? We always have choices. And so we may choose never to know our purpose, never to live into it. And that's perfectly fine. That's our choice, if that's what we want to do. So yeah, I'm not giving you a definitive answer, because I'm not sure that there is a definitive answer, but I think what I've shared is what I've found in my own life and my own experience. The other thing that I'll say is that, having spent many frustrating years trying to figure out my purpose, I tried pretty much every purpose hunting method that's out there. And the one that I use with my clients is the one that actually in the end was the most helpful to me, and that I actually think is a really tremendous method. And it uses a frame that breaks purpose into four things. Because when we talk about purpose, a lot of people are really thinking about what you and I would call mission, right? What's your mission in life? What's that thing that you're here to do, or that would give you joy or a sense of fulfillment if you achieved it? But purpose actually has multiple components. And I think I'm just going to very quickly, if I can, share them, because I think that four components will help people who struggle with purpose sort of get a different sense of how to think about purpose that might be helpful. So the four components are essence, blessing, mission, and message. So mission is, as I said, what most people think about with purpose. You know, they're here to do that particular thing. Message may be, you know, the message that somebody is here to bring to the world. So I often refer to the Dalai Lama. Now, he's probably never done this purpose work, but if I had to guess, if you had to guess, you'd probably imagine his message is something about compassion, right? Or we don't need to all become Buddhists. We just need to love and be compassionate. So some people, not everyone has a message as well as mission. What we all have for sure is an essence, you know, that unique aspect of ourselves that you can't help but be, whatever job you're doing, whatever country you're living in, whatever stage of your life you're in, your essence is uniquely you. And Tim Kelly, who's sort of the developer of this particular purpose method, talks about it as, imagine if we all had a light on our heads and our light was a unique shade. So our essence is our unique shade of light. So when you walk into a room, you bring your unique light into the room, and the room just turns a little bit more your shade, right? That is our essence. And so that I don't think ever changes, at least not in this life. I can't tell you if it changes in different lives. And then blessing is, to some extent, it's an application of your essence. So again, this is an inherent part of you. You do your blessing, whether or not you realize you're doing it, whether or not you're conscious of doing it. So chances are people come to you because they need your blessing and they get something from you. So, you know, the beauty of doing the work is it starts to become more conscious, right? And then you can make more conscious choices about, okay, I need to put myself in these situations where I can be more effective because it's where my essence and blessing are most needed. But it may be something as simple as, you know, some people are just inherently peacemakers. Well, that's probably their blessing, and there are specific steps that they go through. Some people are inherently, you know, light up a room when they come in and create joy and fun, you know, and that's probably connected to their blessing. So I could say a lot more about this, but I just wanted to share those four components because I think it can be very useful to help people think a little bit more sharply about what their purpose is, what components of their purpose they know or don't know, which components they might actually be searching for. And then I guess I should also just say on purpose, for me, purpose is an incredibly powerful thing, individually and collectively, because when we have clarity of purpose, even if it's, you know, even if it continues to unfold and becomes clearer over time, when we have a certain level of clarity, we can make choices that are in line with our purpose. You know, and that doesn't mean that every job you do has to be exactly connected to your purpose, because sometimes you'll do a job that's about building a skill or building an experience or gaining exposure or building relationships. And the more purposeful roles will follow in time, right? So I think it's useful to know purpose sooner rather than later, but to continue to make conscious choices that are about setting yourself up to be the most impactful and joyful and fulfilled that you can be in line with your purpose over time. That's a lot. Wow. So yeah. Stop there. Any questions or reactions to that?
Wow, we're just getting showered with your wisdom. And I think that is one of the most beautiful explanations of purpose that I've seen. And another thing I've sometimes wondered is that, you know, we always think of purpose as a mission, and then we always relate it to certain kinds of roles or jobs, you know, where you are helping people, or there's definitely some positive impact that you're creating. But when you talked about essence and blessing, you can actually bring that to a family situation. A homemaker could be living their purpose because it's what they bring to everyone in the house and how they bless the house with their energy. And so that just helped me think about it in a whole different way. And I love the analogy of the light. I just love that. So thank you.
It's, you know, I love that you picked up on that, how powerful that is for anyone, right? Even someone that's a homemaker, because that's a really valuable role in the world. It's been undervalued historically, but that doesn't detract from the actual value of it. And I think what happens is we make these value judgments around certain careers or certain jobs or certain impacts. But the truth is, we're all contributing to creating and recreating our world, to making it better or making it worse. And the more we live into our purpose, the more we are who we truly are, and we bring ourselves to what we do, whether it's, at the level of a household or a community or at a nation or at an organization, the more we we can make a positive difference. And yeah, it's this value. I don't know that somehow we've created a world with a lot of value judgments, right, around what we should and shouldn't do, what's considered more valuable and what's considered less valuable. And it's really a shame. I think it will change over time, maybe not in our lifetimes, but you can also already see that with the impacts of the pandemic, right? With people questioning what really matters. There's just more openness for a real shift in society than I've ever seen before. And that's, I think, quite heartening.
The Inner Reset is brought to you by HomeTree Coworking, a co-working space I co-founded. HomeTree is Sri Lanka's first co-working space dedicated to mindfulness at work. At HomeTree, we aim to reinvent the way we work in the post-pandemic world by focusing on consciousness, community, and co-creation in the new normal. We're trying out a range of ways to bring mindfulness into how we work. One of them is through online deep work sprints, where we combine mindfulness techniques with productivity science to help us get better at what we do and to help us do our best work. More importantly, HomeTree is an ever-growing community of creatives, entrepreneurs, and change makers who support each other in co-creating their wildest dreams. At HomeTree, we take pride in aspiring towards a new world of work, where your inner being directs what you do in the outer world. To find out about our latest programs, you can go to our Instagram page.